Hey all, and welcome to Shadow of Space, and today we are commenting on another BCP video. This one is called Black Liberals Triggered Over Black Murderer Being Forced into Slavery with Life in Prison. This was uploaded May 17th, this is being recorded May 18th, and links in the description.
Mr. Gathright, you've heard people speak here today on your behalf and yesterday, and I know that you wanted to address the court and the jury. So I would like to ask you what you want the jury to know.
Yeah. I just want to address the court today, and,
That's heavy.
I'm not here to dispute anything. I'm just here to be a man and take responsibility and express my feelings about this whole situation. That's what I plan on doing.
Okay. And how do you feel? What?
I feel very remorseful. This is a terrible situation. It's been a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And based on Mr. Gathright's age, physical abilities, things like that, do you think that the prison would benefit from him in a work capacity if he were sentenced to life without parole?
Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for this young man, check this out.
I say yes with my experience, not only just in classification, but as former ward and even as a jail administrator. He's someone that's young, he's healthy. In reality, we need that labor, we need that sweat equity, and we will put him out there to work.
That's unfortunately at the time I made this isn't uploaded
so we
yet,
put these
so
young individuals to work and get some sweat equity out of them since they are young.
good to know I was right, and this was the argument, is that
Now, tell me what that
here,
sounds
hold
like.
on,
Young
go back.
individuals have an aging prison population.
Things have just gotten worse. Is this modern day slavery? That's what I
Now,
said.
tell me
Is
what that
he's
sounds
a
like.
he's a slave?
Yeah.
No.
Now, tell me what that sounds like to you. If that does not sound like modern day slavery, then what does it sound like?
It sounds like forced labor. See, because this is what, like, I could be wrong. Well, see, like, because people who weren't captured as slaves by, like, the white people were, like, criminals. Like, is forced labor. The idea is that you did something to warrant it. It wasn't just like you were a war prisoner and you were forced to work until you died or whatever. Like, that was the case sometimes, but not necessarily always.
So, we got to follow up on our coverage of the murder case that I reacted to just a couple days ago, featuring 4 young scholars, aka 4 black thugs, right? Criminals, okay, who decided that it would be a good idea to hunt down and murder rapper Julio Fulio as he was celebrating his birthday in Tampa. Now, these 4 individuals decided to drive all the way from Jacksonville, Florida to Tampa in order to murder a rapper. Okay, this was clearly, in my opinion, premeditated, right? They had a long time. They had plenty of chances to think about what they were about to do, but they did it anyways.
They did it
anyways. Now, in this video, we have to once again talk about Sean Gathright, who went viral, breaking down in tears as he learned his fate, right? And what is likely going to happen to him. He's going to be sentenced to life in prison without parole, and what that actually means, which is forced labor, okay? And a lot of individuals, black liberals, of course, are now triggered, right, over the idea of a young black man being sentenced to life in prison without parole and
see, this is what the people that are already in prison are already doing this. Why is it a problem now? Just
to repay his debt to society, because only black liberals, right, only black folks would get on the internet and potentially shed tears over a young black man paying his debt back to society, right? Because these people, for whatever reason, when it comes to the idea of a black person being forced to work, that is the worst thing ever, right? So I want to react to it because, again, it's just shameful that we are like this. But, this is kind of where we're at. So without further ado, let's get into some of these reactions here.
You were sentenced to life without parole?
I say yes with my experience, not only just in classification, but as former warden and even as a jail administrator. He's someone that's young, he's healthy. In reality, we need that labor, we need that sweat equity, and we will put him out there to work because we do have an
I mean, like, even if it isn't forced labor, even if it's community service, like,
aging prison population, jail
it's
administration.
getting him to do something. It's the idea of I don't remember the word. Reintegrating them back into society. Because society ultimately functions on you performing a function. It is somewhat dependent on you doing something.
Have that, so we put these young individuals to work and get some sweat equity out of them since they are young and actually can do the work.
That's Sean Gathright. He's being sentenced for the murder of Julio Fulio, rapper. Check this out. We are past the point of the school to prison pipeline. We are going directly
Finally had a picture. I don't think I ever saw what this
to the school to slavery
what this guy
pipeline. But look
actually
at this.
looked like.
If you commit these crimes, if you murder somebody,
Fair enough.
regardless of whether or not you're in school, doesn't matter. Yeah, you're going straight to prison, right? What's so controversial about this? I don't understand. I don't get it.
76% of incarcerated individuals, regardless of the crime, say that they were forced to work or face serious consequences within the prison. But look,
Yeah, I mean, that's not
I mean, this isn't a surprise.
enough. To be honest with you, 99% of them should be working. I'm trying to figure out what the problem is here.
This.
incarcerated individuals on average produce $2 billion worth of goods and maintain $9 billion worth of products every year.
Not enough, right? It should be more, right? If we could juice some more out of them, we should be doing a lot more, right? Those numbers don't sound big enough for me, right?
That includes things like cooking, cleaning, laundry work, road work, firefighting, and public maintenance. But did you get this part?
Because we do have an aging prison population, jail administration.
In 1991, people 55 and older made up 3% of the prison population. By 2021, they made up 15%. That's 5 times higher. And among those serving life sentences, 30% were 55 and older. Check this out. Prisoners are counted as part of the population of where they're incarcerated.
See,
This inflates the political power and the population of prison towns, while prisoners never reap the benefits. For example, if a town has 500 black inmates, but they have a residential population of 500 people, they can now say that they have a town of 1,000 people. And they can even go further and say that they have a town that's 50% black. So when election time comes and they get the representation that they want, they could say that the black population has jobs, but they don't vote, keeping out the fact that those black people are in prison. And that
All right, well, just, don't go to prison, right? If you don't want this to be a problem, don't go to prison, right? It's really that simple.
It instantly reminded me
see,
of
but at the same time, you say that the mentally ill people should go to prison. So, what do you actually do with the people who should be in prison? Because ultimately there's a distinction. There are normal, well-adjusted people who can function in society, but for one reason or another went down a more destructive, less helpful path. Some people, it's not that they couldn't, it's that they chose not to. Some people cannot. Some people, if you agree that some people cannot be rehabilitated, then you agree that some people cannot be reinstituted into society. And so you need an answer to those people. What do you do with them? If you don't put them in prison, what happens?
Slavery. When I was visualizing when they used to put the slaves on this little platform and they checked to see how healthy the slave was, if they was young, if they was tall, if they was, and how he was describing this guy on this stand. I just was visualizing like, man, this seemed like slavery again. Even though he put himself in the slave system. But the thought of the warden saying, nah, don't kill him. Look how healthy he is. We need that sweat equity. Like he said that.
Yeah, he a healthy young Negro, right? A strong buck, right? We can put him to work. Hey, I love it. To be honest with you, it don't trigger me, right? This dude's a criminal. He's a cold-blooded murderer.
Right. I mean, I think that's what is being glossed over here, is that these people went and killed this guy.
The idea of a...
I guess I don't know anything about the shooting. I don't know if one of them had a gun. I don't know if they all had guns. I don't know if they all shot him. I don't know if one of them shot him. I don't know who shot like the fatal blow, who actually got like the kill. I have no idea. I don't know if that was this guy. I don't know if that was one of the other people. No clue. But just, they went and killed someone. They don't care. They don't care about the fact that they went and killed someone. They care about the fact that they care about how he's going to be treated because of the fact that he killed someone. This is my argument. Oh, forget it. That's just
murderer being forced.
It makes no sense.
It's slavery, right?
It's just something else in a laundry list of things that makes absolutely no sense. Going out and killing someone is completely acceptable. That's fine. But when I'm held accountable for the fact that I went and shot this person, if you mistreat me, like making me do some sort of labor, that is completely unacceptable. Then what should happen? Should anything happen? What does accountability look like? Accountability doesn't mean anything.
Why would I be upset about that, right?
Yes, I killed that person. Accountability over. Done. Like, what else is there?
Slavery, and we're gonna have forced labor. Yeah, we should be forcing murderers to repay their debt to society, right? I don't see how this is controversial, but again, it's controversial to some people because of the fact that he's black.
See, what debt to society? If the guy that he killed was some sort of world-renowned cancer research, there's no way he could ever replace what that person was or what they were actually contributing to society. It doesn't work that way. So, what do you do with them?
Black and forced labor is involved. Hilarious.
I got something to do for him. I'm gonna put him to work. And I'm like, wait, y'all not understanding or seeing what's going on if y'all don't get y'all shit together?
See, but do you not understand? You get up every day and go to work. And you don't have a choice either. If you don't do it, you don't get paid. And if you don't get paid, then all of the things, the lifestyle, goes away very quickly.
Together, that they got a plan.
Almost like working is slavery. In a capitalist system, in a socialist system, it doesn't matter. Someone has to do the work. Whether it's slaves, whether it's people paid less than minimum wage, whether it's people paid honest wages. Someone has to do it, whether you do it for nothing.
plantation
Doesn't
for
matter.
you to work.
Facts.
They don't even want to give you the death sentence no more.
Nope.
He's trying to spare his life not because he love him, not because he care, but because he say we need that sweat equity.
Right. We deporting a lot of illegals. We're deporting illegals, and we need labor to replace the illegals. And this young, strong man who's a murderer is the perfect candidate, right? The perfect candidate. I'm trying to figure out what's so controversial about this. What's so triggering about this? None of these people have ever seen what this guy is describing, right? He's talking about, well, this reminds me of when they used to put the black men up, the black bodies up on the stage, and they used to weigh them and all. It's like, you've never seen that, right? You've never seen that before. You saw it in a Hollywood movie, right?
Yeah,
but
one
you've
time.
never actually experienced or seen that a day in your life. So you don't know what it was like, right? You have no clue what it was like. I'm sick of these people who've never experienced slavery, who've never been slaves, pretending like they know what slavery was like, right? They don't know anything at all. Let's continue.
What happened to Sean Gathright in that trial was necessary for everybody to see. It was necessary. It needed to happen because y'all done got too laxed when it comes to this pro-black thing. This is why we had a problem with y'all letting that bar slide about Kendrick
Too lax?
freeing the slaves. Y'all took that too lightly. And so here we are, 2026. His lawyer was pleading for his life by basically selling him into state-sanctioned slavery.
Well, I mean, those are your options. Slavery or death. Which do you pick?
Wrap your mind around that. Y'all needed to be reminded of where you are. You needed to be reminded that you're behind enemy lines. That's always been our problem for the last
Well,
20.
or okay, so third option, you just let them go. You just drop the case. Say, oh well, they killed this guy, but whatever. I'm sure they won't do it again, and just let him go. I guess that's always the third option, is to just not do anything.
30 years, black folk done got too comfortable here.
Well, if that's the case, then why are you still here, right? Black people are too comfortable in the United States, and we're behind enemy lines, according to this guy. Why are you still here? Why haven't you left yet? That's the real question.
They forgot that they was black. And now here we are. You just got punched in the stomach with a lot
They forgot they were black? And you do that?
of us was just, we knew what this was. We knew what the system has always been. Look up how much it takes to
How could you say that? The most unintentionally. Forgot they were
house a
black.
prisoner. And you can go state
that's
by
good.
state if you want to. But look
That's
how
good.
much it costs to house a prisoner. How much federal money they get to house prisoners. I'm telling you, like, this system told you.
Because I've said this a lot too
With
about
the 13
the idea that like you just locking them up in prison is a drain on the taxpayer. It's a tax burden. Like they like that graph, or was it they produce it's gonna be too small, I'm not gonna be able to read it. They produce $2 billion here, 1037. Maintenance services. Sorry.
money they get to house prisoners.
Right. I mean, that's the one thing that this guy didn't talk about, is the actual tax burden that the prison system is on the taxpayer. That would have been
Telling you, like, this system told
good to
you.
know.
with the 13th
Maybe it
Amendment.
was in it. I don't know.
Go back and look at that documentary. It's on Netflix right now. All of y'all got Netflix still. It tells you about the new Jim Crow. It tells you that it is all about prison labor, free labor. Slavery has not stopped. It just turned from
Well, see, but socialism is redistribution of wealth. So you don't buy anything, you don't sell anything. Well, you basically sell it to the government, and then the government gives it back to you. So you're still a slave, just there's no real incentive behind it versus a capitalist system where there is a monetary incentive. There's a reason to work, and it's because you get money, and it's because money gets you other things.
private to public.
Socialism, the only reason that you would ever work is because if you don't go in and harvest the grain, then people don't get their bread today. And if they don't do that, then they don't eat. And people who don't eat get angry.
This was necessary. I hate it had to come to this, but this was necessary.
Wow, incredible, incredible, right? Incredible.
First human trust. The most amazing thing about the system is how easily they can acquire approval for evil acts in the name of justice. The argument isn't whether approval. First human trust.
Sorry.
The most amazing thing about the system.
He's doing his time. What's it matter how he has to do it? He murdered someone, he doesn't get a choice. What you're saying makes no sense. And there was white slaves. Where's your argument?
How easily they can acquire approval for evil acts in the name of justice. The argument isn't whether this young man deserves harsh punishment.
It like harsh punishment is like honestly, I feel like the harshest thing about it would be is treatment from the other inmates. I mean, it's the nature of being where they are. It's the whole rationale of why you don't want to end up there.
Or harsh consequences for what he did. That's not what's in question. My question is simply...
It's how our system of law functions, where the idea is that prison is the place that you don't want to end up. So the whole game is to either not do those things, or do those things in such a way that you aren't punished for them, so that you don't end up there.
Do we want to abolish slavery or not? Is it one of the worst human atrocities?
No, because everyone has to work, even if you don't want to. And by that definition, everyone is a slave. Whether you're paid for it, whether it's capitalism, whether it's socialism, whether it's communism, whether it's any economic system, it doesn't matter. You as a being need resources. Those resources are finite.
Or not.
Someone has to take in those resources. Someone has to refine those resources so that the group can use them. Or at the very least, so that they can use them, so that you can use them. No one is going to do that for you. Nature doesn't work where you pay a beaver $100 to chop down some trees and turn the lumber into 2x4s to build a house. Like, that's not how it works.
Of course, y'all are thinking in terms of vengeance. But
so if you want to build a house, then you have to toil. You have to labor. You have to decide that you are going to put forth effort that you otherwise wouldn't want to put forth. It's pressure. It is natural pressure.
Middle of the courtroom, it stopped being about seeking justice and went to doing business. That doesn't alarm you?
I don't.
In this situation...
No, it doesn't alarm me. What do you mean? This dude murdered somebody. What should be alarming is the fact that he murdered somebody, right? That should be the alarming part about it. That a young man
I guess I'm gonna say it just because one of the arguments for rape is for abortion, excuse me, totally misspoke, jumped the gun a lot. The argument for abortion is women who get raped shouldn't be forced to carry the child. They should be allowed the option to abort the child because the sexual contact was non-consensual. They don't get mad at rape. The rape aspect of it is acceptable. What is not acceptable is for the woman to have to carry the child to term. It's the same sort of thing. It's bizarre. Like, all of a sudden, the idea of rape is no longer bad. It's just assumed that it's going to happen. You're never going to get rid of it. So, the only thing that you can do is you can try to mitigate the consequences of it happening. Like,
somebody's life
it's
in
bizarre.
Cold blood. That is the alarming part. The alarming part is not this individual being held accountable for murdering somebody. That's not alarming. So again, I'm not entirely sure what these woke revolutionaries want. What type of punishment system do they want for people who commit murder? If slavery is not an appropriate punishment, then what's the appropriate punishment? Death? I guarantee you he'll be crying about that too, right?
Well, I mean, arguably putting him in prison at all would be taking away his rights. I mean, is a slave someone who's forced to labor, or is a slave someone who if you've ever played BioShock, a slave obeys. They don't have a choice. They don't have the right to choose. If you keep someone in a box and you control their meals, you control their recreation time, you control to a degree what they do, you are restricting their freedom. Every prisoner is, for all intents and purposes, a slave.
They used to hang black people.
By that definition, every prisoner is a slave. They don't have the right to choose. They have had their right. That is the whole point, is they have had their right to choose stripped from them. But it's because of something that they did. Or it's supposed to be. If the system is functioning the way that it's supposed to, and it isn't being weaponized to go after people that it simply personally doesn't like. That's when you get corruption. That's when you get kangaroo courts, and they don't even present evidence. They kind of just sentence you and kind of just wave you away.
The death penalty is rooted in racism, hate, and bigotry, right? They'll say that too. They'll come up with some woke argument for why the death penalty is inappropriate. So it's really damn if you do, damn if you don't. Let's just be honest.
No.
A lot of these people don't.
Like, not even just the death penalty. Like, is there any, if labor isn't a punishment, is there any punishment that should even be used? Doesn't do anything.
I don't think that black people should be punished for anything, including killing other black folks, right? That's what they believe. That's what they believe because it's never their fault, right? It's always a system, right? Somebody else is always at fault. It's never the fault of individuals who commit these crimes, right? The easiest way to stop the so-called prisoner pipeline system, to stop young black men from going to prison, being subjected to modern-day slavery, is to stop committing crimes, right? But I honestly don't understand why people feel bad for them. Why do you feel bad for these guys that get locked up and go to prison? Why? I don't. Why? I mean, they were not positive contributors to society. They contributed negatively.
Well, I mean, I I don't actually know that. Did they have jobs? If they had jobs, what did they do? They were in a gang? I don't know. I guess I don't know what that means. Were they drug runners? What did they do? I don't
Black people
get
can
it.
sleep better at night when these people are locked up, slaving away, right? I'm trying to figure out what's the issue here. I've already said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm not against mass incarceration. I'm pro mass incarceration. We need it. We need it. There are a lot of people who just can't cut it in society. I'm not one of these people that believes that all of these guys are potential doctors, lawyers, astronauts, engineers. He was going to be so great. He was going to be so amazing. No. I live in the real world. I've been around these people. I grew up around some of these individuals. I'm telling you, I know what they're like. And because I know what they're like, because I know how these people operate, how they think, and that
We'll
they're not
see. But why are they like this? Were they this way the whole time? Or did circumstances in their life make them this way? Things that you could potentially try to control for.
operating at the same level as everybody else, as normal people. There's nothing that you can do with them. They can't be rehabbed. This guy, Sean Gathright, this dude attempted to murder Julio Fulio before, unsuccessfully, right? So
I
not
have no
only
idea.
did he end up eventually murdering him, but he tried to do it before. So he tried multiple times. That's not somebody that can be rehabbed. That's somebody that has to be locked away forever, okay?
I mean, just see, because the argument would be that if he got it in his head that someone else needed to die, if he for some reason got another target in his head, then there's a chance that he would go and he would try to kill this other person. I don't know.
Or worse, right? Just depending on what the appropriate punishment is.
Well, see, but so what does punishment do? Punishment would be if you wanted to rehabilitate them. Punishment is a tool for conditioning. If they are unconditionable, then punishment doesn't do anything. What do you do with them?
Gaithright, when you got up on that stand and started speaking, I immediately was like, how did he get caught up in this whole Julio Fulio situation? Because the way that you got up there and you spoke and everything like that, I said this boy had the potential to go to school and be a lawyer, could have been a doctor, could have been anything he wanted to be, an accountant, something like that.
See what I mean? Every single time there's always, well, these individuals could have been lawyers and doctors and they had so much potential.
If you believe his story, if you believe his testimony that they read, yes, he did. One of them did.
Potential. No, they did not. Right? No, I hate to break it to you. They were not going to be astronauts. Right? They were not going to.
Not everyone needs to be an astronaut.
Positive contributors. They weren't. They weren't. And again, that's the difference between me and a lot of these people is that I live in reality. They were not going to be great positive contributors to society. They're thugs, they're criminals at their core, right? And because they're thugs and criminals at their core, this is why they did what they did, okay? Because that's who they are. Now, I don't know the reason why, right?
Then what does punishment do? Why punish them? Like, at that point, that's just the guards getting off.
Maybe it's their upbringing. Maybe it's their experiences, with family, growing up in school, whatever. I don't know why.
Right, because then you also have to say that there are some people who are naturally born inferior, lesser. There are people who can integrate into society, and there are people who can't integrate into society.
I just know that that's who they are, their core, and it's too late to rehab them, right? Because they've already showed us they can't be rehabbed.
Just there are there are some people who have no potential. What do you do with someone who has no potential? You have to have a solution for them. You can't just say, you can't just dismiss them. They're going to exist. Like,
Did you get caught up in this Julio situation? I genuinely watched him and I felt bad for him, but then I remembered, okay, they allegedly said he the one who put the whole thing together. Allegedly.
Exactly.
So either you got some master manipulation skills going on to where you can make people believe what you want them to believe,
I
or
don't think
somebody
that.
put you up to this. Like, it's just, I don't know. I just felt so bad. I was like,
Why would you think someone put him up to it? See, that's really the question, is what was the beef between them that he wanted to kill him? I think that might be the question she's asking, is why? I didn't see the case, I saw the clip. I don't know.
he seems like he genuinely realizes the weight of what he has done. And I'll just say this, y'all, none of this stuff is worth it. None of this stuff that they was talking about going back and forth with Julio about,
Well,
none of that is worth
see,
it.
but I feel like my point is valid, that if he got in his head, if whatever caused him to go out and kill this guy happened again with someone else, he would kill someone else. You're okay with that? How many people would you allow him to kill? A small town? A whole city? Would you allow him to go into somewhere like New York with unlimited ammunition and just have fun? Like, not saying that that's what he would do, and obviously that's an extreme case, but this wasn't even self-defense. He literally just was mad at this person for whatever reason and decided to go kill him. This is like freaking Wild West nonsense. Like,
I always think about The Color Purple whenever something happens. You know, when Oprah said to Miss Seeley, she said, "Don't do it, Miss Seeley. It ain't worth trading places with where I've been." Okay? And if you know the story Color Purple, you know she was in jail. It's not worth it. Like, the boy's only 20 years old. He done threw his life away. He's about to be in prison, potentially for the rest of his life. Or, allegedly, they said something about facing the death penalty. Yeah, y'all, that just makes me so sad. We gotta do better as a society. We gotta literally sit down and talk to our kids and be like, hey, the streets is not the way.
Well, doing better means that we should not get on the internet and feel bad for these people, right? These sad sob stories. Oh, he's so young. No, we got to stop doing that, right? That's the first step. Okay, stop doing that.
I don't know. Oh, hold on.
I was watching that video of the Julio sentencing where they gave Sean Gathright life with no possibility of parole for unaliving that man.
Sorry.
That boy, 18. 18.
Yeah.
18. And they are going to get much, as he said, sweat equity out of that young man. They're going to put him to work. That warden said we have...
They're also going to feed him. They're also going to give him a bed.
A large population of, aging prisoners, where that means, they old. They getting where they can't really get the work done. So they need young, healthy men. Young, healthy men. They gave him a life sentence.
Like you care.
He's 18.
Oh my goodness. This is ridiculous.
18.
What am I listening to?
And now we have to look at it where we already know.
You literally want to send Donald Trump to this place. Listen to this. Oh, he has to go there and it's so horrible. It's just this awful, horrible place that no one should ever have to go. Except everyone who's a Republican in your eyes. Like,
and all the ways
stop.
over the years in which they have
just stop
the black community, and they have documentaries. It's what is called 13 on Netflix that talks about how they they went from slavery to the prison system, and then they watched the numbers in the prison system grow over the years, and they watched who was encompassing the prison system. I don't even know.
It's like crime is a thing. And not only is it happening, but it's happening more. Wow.
That's a proper word. Who was
weird
within the prison system. Okay? So now Imagine if that prison is saying, hey, we have a large population of old people. We need younger people. We need more young people, right? Imagine how many other prisons have that same problem. And this is why we are standing down. This is why we're not getting out there protesting. This is why, because it's like, no, y'all been using us. Y'all been sacrificing us. Y'all been using black people, melanated people, African American people, indigenous people, whatever you want to classify yourself as. Them using us, our sweat, our energy. And it's just like, no, get somebody else to do it.
Okay. Well, I mean, black people need to stop committing crimes, right? Stop committing crimes. And, this will be an issue, right? But, that whole stop committing crimes part of it, people just tend to miss out on that, right? They don't want to talk about that part.
I know this really isn't being talked about a lot when we talk about the prison for-profit industry, like in general, how, especially with Sean Gathright, the 60 hours a week and literally calling that man slave sweat equity so he doesn't get the death penalty. At that point, put the bullets in me. Put the bullets in me, real talk. Or you will find me with my shoelaces, okay? And I understand
No,
this is
that's a completely valid answer.
really to
That's
put
a
him
valid
away.
choice.
Like, I'm gonna put him to the side more, and I'm just gonna talk about the situation of a man having to work 60 hours a week for the rest of his life, and how they are purposely
That you literally described basically every single man, woman, and child who lives on the planet. Congratulations.
going for young labor to fund these
Like,
for-profit prisons. At a certain point, they're going to start prioritizing the prison system through the school to prison pipeline instead of paying the rest of us outside. Are a lot of
the whole point is the people who are the prisoners don't go to school.
us thinking about that? Are y'all thinking about the fact that they are going to definitely prioritize putting people in
Where do you get this?
prison? That's why they're going to make it illegal for you to be homeless. They're going to make it illegal for you to do a lot more things, and they're going to crack down on a lot more people. It's easier to crack down on black people.
You think that it's a problem to make it illegal for people to live in storm drains?
Fully understand that that's a conversation that we also need to tap in on. This is why it needs to be a much bigger conversation. But the South can keep the minimum wage $7.25 because they have everybody in the prisons working. Is that not crossing anybody's mind? Like you do?
Yeah. Does it not cross your mind that to prevent all this, just don't commit crimes, right? Don't go to prison, and then you don't have to be a part of the system, right? Your sweat equity will not be needed, right? It will not be used if you don't commit crimes, right? If you are a law-abiding citizen, this is not a problem. But only black folks, right? Only black people will turn a story like this into a sad sob story. Oh, woe is him. He's gonna be doing forced labor, forced slavery for the rest of his life. They're sending black men to prison through the school to prison pipeline. Oh, this is so terrible. They want to use our bodies, right? It's nonsensical, man. It's nonsensical. We cannot progress, right, as people, as long as we have individuals like this. We got to toughen up, right? We have to be tough on those who are not productive members of society. If you are not...
No, we need an action. Why? Again, why? What does that do? It's not going to change them. It's not going to make them act differently. What does that do? Again, at that point, why even force them into labor? Why not just give them the death penalty? If you're already going to say that they have no potential, if you're already going to say that you can't do anything with them, then just get rid of them. Why keep them around?
Positive contributor. If all you do is take.
At that point, you literally are just keeping them as slaves. You are just keeping them as slave labor.
You make negative contributions to society. If that's all you do, then yeah, you should be a part of society. And until we toughen up on these individuals, we're going to have the same issues, right?
Because you can't just deport them, because other countries aren't going to want to deal with that. You can't, exile them somewhere, because there's a good chance that they won't die, and they'll just continue to live. As well as the fact that if you do it for every single person, if you do it for every single deviant person, then you're going to have a small population. Well, that small population, some of them will start to harvest the resources, they'll start to build for themselves, but they won't necessarily get over the animosity that they feel towards you for having put them there in the first place.
Control these black neighborhoods. Black people are going to continue to lose their lives. Black people are not going to have opportunities. We're not going to have safe neighborhoods. We're not going to have economic growth or anything like that as long as we continue to coddle the worst among us, right? Black people, we got to let go of these thugs.
See, but putting them in a prison is coddling them. The death penalty is absolutely not coddling. That has to be the most anti-coddling thing I can think of. Saying, "Oh yeah, we'll just put you in a box and, you know, we'll leave you alone with the other inmates, you know, they might rough you up, you know, but we don't really care. Just we let them do what they want, and that's just what we're gonna do." Like,
right?
why?
These people who have proven to be nothing but agents of chaos, a detriment to the black community. We have to let them go. Until we let these people go, we're gonna be in the exact same situation. We're not gonna make any progress. We aren't going anywhere because only black people will get on the internet and shed pity tears, right, for a murderer. It's crazy to me, right? It's crazy. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Right. I mean, it really is one of those, I mean, I said it where I don't know. I don't know. I mean, um, this isn't the first time this has happened. It's not going to be the last. This isn't new. This has been happening since before those increases in incarceration rates. Like, just you have the entire like mobster era, and yet you only pay attention to like the 3% of criminals in 1991, whenever that thing was. Like, your snapshot of it is so narrow. There has been so much worse crime in this country other than the past however many odd years. Like,
most importantly, share.
This is like George Floyd. Like, how many black people have been killed by police officers before George Floyd that for absolutely no reason whatsoever, all of these people just jumped on board this movement? This is where we live now, where absolutely every single offense is outrage culture. It's, you immediately get on here and just scream about how it's the most horriblest, awful thing ever that humanity has ever devised, and the people who are perpetuating it, who are the people who don't agree with me politically, need to have something happen to them so that their ideas can go away, so that my ideas can be the dominant idea. This is where we are.